we are ready to begin our Japan adventure. For this trip, I wore my beachy breezy cardigan because we have to represent with some handmade. And our crochet companion for this trip is a pattern by Mermaid Cat Designs. The name of it is on the screen. And I chose to go for a cropped version, but I am following the instructions stated in the pattern using a 3.5mm crochet hook. This pattern is only sized up to a size 50, but it does include the multiples that you need for larger sizes, so you know, that is a good thing. And with that, we are on our way to our next destination, which is Montreal. Now, I actually didn't do any filming there, but I did buy the most amazing macaroons. Seriously, they were sinfully delicious. And look at that, I also managed to crochet some more. And would you look at that, we have made it all the way to Narita, Tokyo. That is the Narita International Airport at Tokyo, Japan. It was a 12-hour flight if you're interested. Anyway, we boarded the Narita Express bound for Osaka because that was actually our final destination on Tuesday the 28th of May. So yeah, it was a really long flight because we started our trip on the 27th, but we actually made it to Japan a day later. And I don't remember what time we left Narita Airport, but I do remember that we got to Osaka at around 10 p.m. So after checking into the hotel, it was time for some late night dinner. Good morning. You just woke up after 4 hours of sleep, Clarissa. Today is Wednesday, and we went to sleep on Wednesday, so we slept a good 4 hours, which was better than the first time we ever came to Japan, where we didn't sleep at all. So, it is 5 a.m. in Osaka, and the plan today is to eat, of course. But first, we're gonna have some tea. And I need to show you the progress I made on my Lust crochet. Well, should I even say that? That's gonna get me canceled on YouTube. So anyway, I need to show you the progress I made on my chosen sweater pattern. I did alter the pattern slightly because I just did. But yeah, let's make a cup of tea and share that. We have tea. I actually brought with me my honey tea light from Onyx Club, so we're good to go. So let's catch you up on where I've been, or where we are with this crochet project. As I said, I am using my leftover cotton bamboo yarn, or bamboo cotton yarn, from crocheting my lazy polka dot top, which is in its testing phase, so thank you to everyone who is testing. And right now I need to find a place to put you because I didn't bring any vlogging props. The project has been living in this honeybee bag, which I rarely share, but I crocheted it for the Hotel of Bees shawl make-along, which happened years ago. Alright, so where are we? I just pulled out stitches because I forgot to put a stitch marker in place. But this is where we are. I'm making a cropped version, so I think I'm about ready to complete one of these repeats, and then it'll be time to split. And if it turns out that I've crocheted it too short, then I will add a panel at the bottom in ribbing. Before we start any kind of crochet, we need to decide on an outfit. So we have a full day walking ahead of us, and I'm having trouble deciding on outfits because it's now 55 degrees, but it's going to go up to 75. What do I wear? So this is outfit option 1. Outfit option 2. Let me know. As you can see, I went for option 2. Honestly, it was so cozy and comfortable. But that does mean that we have plenty of time to crochet because hotel breakfast is at 7 a.m. And yes, we did buy the hotel breakfast because things in Osaka tend to open at 11 a.m. Okay, so not everything in Osaka opens at 11 a.m. We were staying in Dotonbori, which is like the nightlife center. It's also very touristy. So there are some ramen stands, for example, that will stay open until like 8 a.m. and then close a little bit and then reopen later on in the day. But we nonetheless paid for the hotel breakfast and it was absolutely worth it. We were staying at the Hotel Forza and their breakfast is a buffet style and it has so many options for traditional Japanese breakfast foods as well as some Western things thrown in like French toast and omelets, but we were after that miso soup and the breakfast curry, and they had karage, they had takoyaki, so many good things in that breakfast. Our destination this fine morning was a place that we ventured out in the previous Japan vlog, and it is Narukawa Yarn Store. But of course, we left obscenely early. It was about 8 a.m. and Narukawa opened at 9:30 a.m. Luckily for us, there were some stores open, namely a bookshop. We were still too early for the yarn store, so we are changing our location for adventuring. Our destination for adventure happened to be an open donkey or Don Quixote that was nearby. I actually find the store very, very overwhelming, but it is still an enjoyable visit for snacks and such. Okay, we're back on track for our visit to Narukawa. And if you ever want to visit this store yourself, it is on the 5th floor of the Narukawa building, so you do have to like enter the building and then approach an elevator and then click the 5th floor. That's how it works, just in case, you know, because the first time we walked in here we were like, where is it? Now this store is a love of my life because of all the brightly jewel tone dyed cotton yarns. All this wall is cotton yarns and cotton ropes, and that just speaks to me because it is hot in Florida a lot of the time and I sometimes don't feel like using wool, so this store speaks to that part of me that just wants to have lightweight, beautiful colored yarns to work with. After Narukawa, it was time to board the train and head to a different part of Osaka for second breakfast. This little patisserie is a must if you visit Osaka. The store inside is absolutely beautiful and you can find all sorts of beautifully baked and delicious treats. But not only that, it kind of just looks like an apothecary, and you have a selection of teas that you can purchase and of course smell because they have a lot of samples. But the must here is this square pastry that is chock full of creme brulee filling. Like, oh, it was so delicious. And as you can see, it's huge, so we actually just shared one between me and Edison, but I still dream about this dessert. It was like one of the best desserts I had ever. After a fortifying second breakfast, it was time for our first Daiso experience. And let me tell you, is it an experience? This store has absolutely everything, and it's all very, very cute, and they even have yarn. Know what else we found near the Daiso? Suntory Whiskey House. Now this wasn't a whiskey tour, this was actually their restaurant, but when you walk in they have a little bit of history of the distillery and, you know, some very nice looking bottles of whiskey if you like whiskey. I myself am not a whiskey person, but my husband is, and you know what, I always enjoy reading history of any sort, so we had a really nice time here. And after that, because Suntory Whiskey House was located in the same place as a Muji, and I found out that Muji also makes furniture. Like, don't mind me just ordering my husband about. Look at this refrigerator. I think the space is just so effective. I mean, look, 3 freezer drawers. Your ice is separate from everything else, so your ice doesn't get any weird flavors. And this is a, frankly, very soothing furniture setup. Muji even had some yarn. This was wool yarn, supposedly ethically sourced. I would like to trust in that, but you know, one never really knows. However, I can say it was 100% wool, merino wool. And if you're wondering, I left Muji with this cable organizer. I am pretty much, very much, just convinced this might be the best find ever. Because I don't know about you, but I never know how to organize my cables, and just having them in this little box, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So we're back at the hotel. Our feet are super, super tired. I think we're gonna just shower and call it an early night, just because we don't want to overdo it. I'm having back problems. My husband's having back problems, and you know what? I rather we call it an early night now, and then tomorrow we can do more things. Actually, tomorrow we leave Osaka and we head to Kyoto. So I will see you tomorrow. Hello and good morning. Welcome to Thursday. It is Thursday, May 30th, which is the day before our wedding anniversary. And today, during the morning, we will still be in Osaka, but at 11 a.m. we check out from the hotel and we head to Kyoto. But I do have to show you 2 things that I bought yesterday, and one of them is yarn related and one of them is food related. So let's start with the food. If you hear something in the background, it's the tea kettle bubbling and brewing. Food. This is a senbun? A rice? No, I think it's a rice cracker. Is that a senbun? Yes. Okay, it's a senbun, and it's topped with brie cheese and honey, and it was delicious. I opened one last night to taste it, and it was so good. And then the second thing I gotta show you, I said, it's yarn, because we went to Narukawa yesterday, as you saw, and I bought very, very thin cotton yarn. Let me show you. I got 4 hanks of this beautiful olive green lace weight yarn. The gentleman at the store informed me that they mostly sell yarn for weaving, but you know, it is yarn and I am going to use it to crochet. But I think I'm going to hold it double, as it is lace weight, and y'all know I do not work in lace weight yarn, so we shall see what projects I come up with for this one. So actually, we didn't head out straight to Kyoto. We went to Super Potato Osaka, which is a retro games store, and look, we have Game Boys. Do you remember Game Boys? This was my first ever gaming console. I had a green one, of course. And then it was time for a little treat before actually getting on the train. This is like a pancake that's filled with mozzarella cheese. It's absolutely delicious. Also, it looks like a coin. I don't know if that's a selling point or not, but it tastes good. Good morning. It is Friday for me. May 31st, which means it is our 5th wedding anniversary. Congratulations to us. Whoa, that light change. I didn't really record anything yesterday because we were walking around just looking at stuff. I showed pictures of the retro bar, and then I just kind of like cut off, didn't say goodnight or anything. But we made it to Kyoto and we are here. We're gonna try and do some extra special things for our anniversary today, but first, some tea, because hotel breakfast doesn't start until 7, and it is currently 5:30 a.m. And
6:30.
It's 6:30?
6:05.
6:05? It's 6. Okay, whatever. But we're gonna crochet right now. So in Osaka, I said that we were almost done with the front panel, and No, it was a bit too cropped. So I'm just adding a bit more length to the front panel before we actually split and work our neckline shaping, and that's not until a long while yet. So let's just keep crocheting and enjoying this beautiful morning. After breakfast, we boarded the train and headed towards Uji. This place was absolutely beautiful. We hadn't been here in our previous Japan trip, and honestly, I highly recommend it. There's so many little historical tidbits to see, at least around the parts that we were in. I'm guessing it's the more tourist part, or historical for that matter, but we have places like this Uji bridge that come with a little story that I greatly appreciated. Also, it was just beautiful standing next to this bridge and hearing the water flow. Again, highly recommend. Here we are making our way to Byodin Temple. It is a gorgeous temple with some lush greenery. Unfortunately, this is the only bit of footage I have of it because right as we arrive, a group of students descended on the premises and, didn't want to include any kids on the video, so this is a picture. Since Uji is a land of matcha, we of course had to try the matcha ice cream as well as matcha takoyaki and matcha gyozas.
Very salty.
See? We're back at the hotel picking up our raincoats because it is raining. If you ever get the chance to come to Kyoto, we highly, highly recommend that you take the, what line was it? The Keihan line? Keihan line to the Uji stop and you explore Byodin Temple and the bridge. There's so many cute stores, and there's, we bought tea at a store that's been open for 400 years. Also, it was really good tea.
Oh, the matcha gyoza is really good.
Oh yeah, the matcha gyoza was delicious. Actually, we thought matcha was overhyped because the matcha we've had outside of Uji has been mid at most. But Uji matcha is its own tier.
It's pretty good. I don't like matcha. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So now we are headed to
Nintendo store.
Nintendo Museum.
Hi.
The Nintendo Museum and a coffee shop? So this was the coffee shop that Edison wanted to visit. The owner has won many a World Barista Championships. And then after that we went to the Nintendo store in Kyoto, not the Nintendo Museum, as I said previously. Sushi bowl lunch. A sushi bowl is literally white rice with whatever choice of fish the chef put on top of my bowl. There was one that I did not like. And the highlight of our anniversary was definitely getting to use the private lounge at Kinobi. It is beautiful Victorian era furniture, not Victorian style, Victorian era furniture, okay? And we got to sit on it. Well, we are sitting on Queen Victoria era furniture, and there's a part of me that's absolutely in love with it, and then there's a part of me, the historian, museum, conservationist part of me is like, why am I sitting on this furniture? But then the other part of me is like, well, furniture was meant to be used, and as long as you take care of it, why not keep using it, right? Anyway, we are having, well, I'm having a kinobai. Kinobai is a gin made with plums, and it is delicious. I'll flip the camera around and show you the description. My favorite gin from Kenobi is just the original Kenobi. It makes such a superior gin and tonic, but this Kinobai is great for like a summer gin and tonic or a spring gin and tonic. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And if you're wondering if I'm crocheting, I am not. I forgot my crochet. It's raining a lot, so I just honestly remembered my raincoat but forgot the crochet. And you know, the crochet would have gotten wet anyway, so. After leaving Kenobi, we found a bar that had a Puerto Rican flag, so of course we had to go in there. No, the bartender wasn't Puerto Rican, but he did indeed speak Spanish and was a fan of Bad Bunny, so. After missing 2 trains, we finally made it to our destination. Today we are in Kanazawa. It is 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I really just want to sleep, really. Lugging luggage everywhere is not recommended. But I'm going to show you the room because this is so nice. If you're wondering why I haven't shared any other hotel room, it's because I think my husband and I deserve an award for the amount of mess we can make in record time. But yeah, I think we're gonna rest for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes and then go get dinner. Technically lunch because we didn't have that, but yeah, bye. Good morning. I've lost track of the days. I don't know what day it is anymore. I think it's June 2nd. I think. Might be a Sunday? Oh, it's Sunday, right? Yeah, it is Sunday. And we made it to Kanazawa yesterday at 5 p.m. And honestly, we didn't do much exploring last night after having dinner. We finished dinner at around 7. We were both very tired, so we just came back to the hotel room.
It's closed.
Yeah, everything was closed. So, nothing much to report. We're going to try and do some exploring today, but as you saw, it is raining. And I don't know about you, but I hate touristing in the rain. So, instead, we're finishing the front panel of our crochet top because also it's 5:30 a.m. so. On the crochet front, we have completed the front panel of our sweater. Oh, it's so silky and just drapey. I absolutely love this yarn. And we are on our way to starting the back panel of the sweater. And after some crochet, we are lucky that in Kanazawa things open up early, so we found a nice little cafe that was open at 8 a.m. and ate some really good sandwiches. Then we were all fueled up for exploring, and we were headed towards the gardens. I believe it is the Kenrokuen Gardens. And let me just say that Kanazawa was beautiful. Like, there were just little spots of lush greenery everywhere you looked, and it almost made it seem like a fairy tale environment. Oh my god, these gardens are just so beautiful, and I'm looking at this footage now and I'm just wishing I would have remembered to take some crochet because I could have spent a lot of time in these gardens just sitting down listening to nature and the water bubbling, and it was just beautiful, honestly. After the gardens, we headed to Omicho Market. This is the only footage I have of the market because a lot of the stalls said no photos or videos. We continued our adventures walking to the Higachi Shoya district, which is where you will find a lot of the machiya houses in Kanazawa, and it was here that I had the most delicious hot soba of my life. Unfortunately, I did not write down the name of the restaurant or anything else, so just take my word for it. Best hot soba. After walking around Higashiyama, we headed to Kanazawa Castle. It's beautiful, beautiful, huge grounds, and there had just happened to be like a fair going on, which was very interesting to watch. And the castle grounds itself are huge. The castle itself is closed for renovation, but the grounds are free to explore, or at least they were free to explore that day. Honestly, even if it wasn't free, I think it's well worth a visit. They are huge, and all the buildings have little plaques in front of them explaining a little bit about the history, and I always find that interesting. Yes, we're in the same light we were this morning because it's been probably 12 hours since I actually last talked to the camera. And I don't know, remember when I was telling you that, it was a bit of a day to get here? The other thing I forgot to mention was that en route, when we missed those 2 trains, my luggage broke, like the wheels of my luggage, which I know can be replaced, but when you're traveling on a trip, it's not really like you can Amazon some wheels and fix your luggage. So this morning we went and actually found a local store that had luggage that I liked, a little bit bigger than the carry-on size that I brought, which is good because boy have we done shopping. But anyway, the point is, here's my advice to you. If you ever come to Japan, make sure that your luggage can withstand the trip, because you may have to pay for them to get rid of your luggage. So trash is a little bit complicated in Japan, and like bulk trash specifically, we had to ask the hotel where we could take it, or if they actually, took care of the bulk trash for us. And the man at the front desk was very kind. He was really trying to find a way for us to be able to get rid of our broken luggage, but it turns out it was pretty far away, so we had to pay the hotel 2,000 yen, which is about 12-ish dollars to get rid of our luggage, which I always find interesting. We paid it, of course, because what are you gonna do? You need to get rid of this luggage. But it's just a fun little story. I texted my sister about it. She's like, have you had a normal day? I'm like, well, we're on a trip. Are any days normal when you're really on vacation? But yeah, we're back to the hotel. Our feet are dead. And we've only walked about 6 miles per day, but I don't know. Do they actually make walking shoes that don't murder your feet? Because I supposedly have walking shoes, and yet I still feel like they're non-walking shoes. I'm gonna end the day here. I'll probably do a little bit of crochet because it's only like 7 p.m. But yeah, I want sleep. I really do. A deceptively calm morning drink right before an earthquake alarm sounded. Yes, I think the earthquake alarm scared us more than the actual earthquake, because where we were in Kanazawa, the earthquake was like a 3 on the Richter scale, and that was fine. The building swayed with it, so it's a good building. Anyway, we are off after this to Shinjuku. If you are wondering where is the Shinjuku footage, well, we've skipped forward a day, because when we arrived at Shinjuku, it was quite literally pouring rain, and I was not going to film in the pouring rain. So instead, we get features of the next day, where we boarded a train headed to Saitama to visit Totoro's forest. If you are like me, thinking that you are coming to a forest, well, you will at least find a Totoro statue. This is not it, but it is a very nice hiking kind of destination, and it is very, very peaceful. and you can see a lot of rare butterflies and, like I said, a lot of hiking. So if you come to Japan and you're into hiking, then I would definitely say this Totoro forest is for you. Long hiking trail where you really had to use your imagination to envision yourself in the Totoro movie. We decided to indulge in nice greasy pizza. And let me tell you, I've heard that pizza in Japan is bad, but I really enjoyed this pizza. I don't remember the name of the restaurant, unfortunately, but this was in Shinjuku, and it was on the 3rd floor of a building. Since last talking to you, we visited a giant Buddha statue, experienced an earthquake, and went to a chocolate bar. Not necessarily all in that order, because technically we experienced, the earthquake was like our big wake-up call the day we checked out of Kanazawa. We didn't get too bad. It was like a 3-point something in the area. That's how it felt. And the building swayed with the earthquake, so you know it was built to withstand. Very safe. But still, what a wake-up call. After that, we headed to Shinjuku, which is where we're currently at, and we're about to check out of here to head to Hakone. In the meantime, what have we done? Yesterday, we saw I think it's the 2nd biggest Buddha statue, and he was impressive. It was very, very peaceful. And we also did a chocolate bar yesterday, like a bar where most of their signature cocktails are themed around chocolate. Themed around cacao, which is different from chocolate. And everything we had was delicious. The cacao infused wine, it was beautiful. Anyway, I'm gonna get started unpacking up this mess. Alright, the lighting is horrible and my hair could be better, but we made it to
Hakone.
So the room was set up so that the wash basin and the toilet were separate in the front. Then we have the actual bedroom, which was in the tatami area, 2 separate beds, a closet with the yukata and the pajamas for our stay. The room also had a separate set of chairs so that you could sit and have your coffee with the complimentary coffee station. And tea station, of course, with natural Hakone spring water. And separate from all of that is the bathing area. So we have a shower, which you're meant to shower before you use the bath water. And the bath water is very hot, I would say. Yeah, I forgot the temperature, but it's hot. And it's just the most wonderful thing in the world. Once we were settled in, we headed down for the dinner, which was a buffet style dinner. Absolutely delicious. In the morning, we got up extra early to crochet and also just soak in the peacefulness of listening to water flow, but mostly so we could take full-on advantage of our private bath. It's not recommended that you spend more than 10 to 15 minutes at a time inside the onsen water, and trust me, that's true. You get very dizzy the longer you stay in it, but it afforded the most peaceful atmosphere for crochet and relaxation and recovery. After Hakone, I just have very small glimpses of things that we did in Akasaka. For example, this is a cafe in Ginza next to the Muji store and the Muji Hotel, and I had some almond tea, which was delicious. Then we have breakfast for the last day that we were in Japan, and we had this at omotesando, some traditional fluffy pancakes. We headed to Shinjuku for the yarniest of places. This is Okadaya. It is a multi-floor craft store, and we decided to climb the stairs and head to the yarn. Did I mention this is a vlog of awkward angles? You're currently propped up on my suitcase. Well, one of our suitcases. And, I think I should... Okay. That's a little bit better. I'm now on the floor. Anyway. Aoyama Tea House, that's where we left off. Had to come back to the hotel room. Edison is in Akihabara in this afternoon, but I had to come back to the hotel room because I had all our shopping and it was getting heavy. Let me show you the damage I did in Okadaya. I say damage, but really I bought magazine because I'm going to make one pattern in there. And then I bought the yarn to make said pattern. I'll insert a picture here of the pattern that I want to make. I don't want to make it in those colors, obviously. You saw what colors I bought, and I also didn't like the color range in that line of yarn. It was a beautiful linen blend yarn, like I really liked it, but I didn't like the colors. So I decided to go with this color palette. We've got kind of like a bone beige, and then we have a bright yellow and a sage green, and I'm excited to get started on this project. This might... So I know we already have plans for the summer romance crochet along. I'm wondering if I should commit to 2 garments this year. One is from the lovely Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy. Hola, muñeca. And I am very excited to start that one. I've been waiting to start it since Chelsea's birthday because that's when I bought yarn to make it. Okay, so we've got that, but now I'm tempted to do this. And also, did I tell you? Ugh, I had to buy a specific crochet hook for it. Oh, they packed it separately. It's a 2.20. I did not even know there was a 2.20. But we bought it. We bought it. Anyway, I'm going to now find space in my suitcase for this mess that I just made, and I will see you either this evening or tomorrow. So this is our last evening in Japan, and tomorrow is our last morning in Japan because we board the plane at 5 p.m. Good morning. It is our final few hours in Japan. It is 8 a.m. in Japan currently, Sunday the 9th of June. I am finally cutting into the bread that I bought 3 days ago. This is not a chocolate bread, by the way. This is a Ojicha tea chocopan that I bought at a bakery whose name I forgot, but I'll include on the screen. And I didn't take any pictures because they said no pictures, which fair, but this is nice, soft, very good bread. It would taste delicious with a little bit of mascarpone cheese. I think that would like elevate it even better. Anyway, we don't have any plans really, just dealing with all the purchases we made last night. Yes. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna finish this, probably have a second cup of tea and finish packing. For our last few hours, we headed to Shibuya, and then after that, it was goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us for this very brief recap of our trip to Japan. I'm only sorry I didn't include any of the more interesting bits, like, you know, my luggage breaking and all that sort of stuff that happens when you travel, but I am forever grateful that you decided to join me, and I will see you in the next video. Happy crafting! Bye!